Welcome back to episode 9 of A Day in the Life of a Cowboy Fan who lives and works in the city of Philadelphia. Yes, Eagles country, episode 9. And guess what? It's playoff time. We got a lot to talk about today. Like I said, it's playoff time and we're the number 2 seed. Yeah, somehow, some way, we won an NFC East division and we got the number 2 seed. Now, I'll be alive out where to tell you that I knew we were going to win the division this year. I knew we were going to win the number 2 seed in the playoff picture, and that I knew I was going to be this confident headed into the playoffs. I'll be alive. But guess what? That's the past, and I'm confident. We're number 2 seed, and we're the NFC East champions. So, Cowboy fan, lives and works in Philly. Story time, right? A couple weeks ago, we beat the Eagles. Spanked them. They had 1 touchdown. That was on defense. And not going to work. Eagle fans telling me, whatever. We still going to win the division. You guys still ain't good. You're the Cowboys. You're going to have a wild card position and lose in the first round. Yeah, okay. I stayed humble. Stayed confident. And kept believing in my team. And guess what? We won out. And guess what? The Eagles went 1-3. No, excuse me. Was it 1-5 in their last 6 games? You couldn't have told me that we were going to win a division when the Eagles had the Giants, Cardinals, and Giants left. So as I went into work after we clinched the 2nd seed, I was looking for a conversation. Well, what's up? Let's talk about football. All I heard was, man, the Eagles stink. They better fire Sirianni. Our offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator, they both suck. Why did we play our starters? You played your starters because you could have got the 2nd seed. But since they saw we was whooping Washington, now it's like we should never have played our starters. We don't care. We're going to beat Tampa Bay in the first round anyway. Y'all going to lose to the Packers. This, that, and the third. Listen, I'm confident in my team right now. And we got the Packers, but we'll talk about that a little later on in the podcast. But as I go into work every day, Eagle fans, they just talking about basketball now. They talking about the Sixers. They talking about getting Kevin Durant. I'm like, hold on. The season's not over yet. Why can't we talk football no more? I don't know. But like I said, man, day in the life of a Cowboys fan, and we got a lot to talk about. First things first, let's talk about the season in review. Now, obviously, the season's not over. We're in the postseason. First playoff games this weekend. But I just want to review my Dallas Cowboys, right? So starting off, beginning of the season, we were looking pretty good. And then bam, we ran into the 49ers and they spanked us. And I'll be a lie to you. I lost all confidence. I'm like, yo, I was talking like Eagles fans. We might have to blow this up. DAK might not be the answer. McCarthy might have to go. We might have to get Dan Quinn the head coaching shot next year. I don't know what to do. The Cowboys took the soul out of me as a Cowboy fan. And you know what? I never stopped being a fan, though. I never stopped being a fan because I'm a diehard fan. Day in the life of a Cowboy fan. And I persevered and I kept believing. And we got a couple wins in a row. But the roller coaster, when it goes up, it must come down. And we ran into Buffalo. They spanked us. We ran into Miami. They beat us by a game-winning field goal. And I'm like, that was our chance to win a division. We lost it. But, you know, I try to talk myself into being happy with the 5th seed. We put the 4th seed. That's the winner of the NFC South. Those are scrubs. This is going to be Tampa Bay. It's going to be the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers. We can beat them. I looked at the bright side. I looked at the glass half full instead of half empty. But then we started balling. And the Eagles, they started hustling backwards. And then going into the last week, I'm like, yo, if we win, we control our own destiny. We get home field advantage until the NFC Championship. Unless the 49ers lose, then we get home field into the Super Bowl. Right? So things looked up. So just looking at our stats and a team as a whole for the regular season, we balled out. Right? So I got here in my notes. Cowboys regular season, outstanding. We had the NFL, not the NFC East. We had the NFL leader in passing touchdowns, my boy DAK. We had the NFL leader in receptions, CeeDee Lamb. We had the NFL leader in interceptions, DaRon Bland. We had the NFL leader in pressures, Micah Parsons. We had the NFL leader in field goal makes, Brandon Aubrey. We had the NFC leader in punt average, and Brian Anger. We balled out. But guess what? That means nothing. That means nothing. If we don't make it to at least the conference championship, and I'm looking for a Super Bowl, all that means nothing. It was a couple years ago, I think it was 2021 maybe, when Dak threw for like 40 touchdowns. We was 12-5. Trayvon Diggs led the NFL interceptions. We had a 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard rusher. And we lost in the second round. So all those accolades ain't mean nothing. And I don't want Cowboy fans to get discouraged, but it means nothing. Everything starts this weekend. All those stats, all those touchdowns, interceptions mean nothing until we win the big game, until we make it to the conference championship and win the conference championship and bring home ring number 6 and prove to the world we America's team, right? So, not to discourage Cowboy fans, because I'm happy. I feel good. I feel happy about our matchup. I feel happy about our chances to make it to not only a conference championship, but a Super Bowl. But let's not be satisfied. I need the players, the coaches, don't be satisfied. It's only getting started, because guess what? If we lose in the first round, we're going to have to hear the whole NFL as an entire fan base for a whole nother year. If we lose in the second round, they won't stop talking. See, y'all just the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all has-beens. Y'all not America's teams. We don't want to hear that. So we got to win. And now, after, stating all those accolades, let's look in the past just for this 1 second, just one segment of the podcast. Let's look in the past, right? Because everybody in the NFL wrote off my QB1, Dak Prescott, especially Eagles fans. Like I said, day in the life of a Cowboy fan who lives and works in Philly. I heard it every day. Everybody said Dak Prescott was Dak Regress Scott. Everybody said he regressed, right? Everybody said he wasn't good. Because last year, he was turnover prone. Last year, he threw interception after interception. He led the NFL in interceptions. They didn't say anything about him losing all his receivers. They didn't say anything about injuries, about play calling. They just said he was a bum because he threw a lot of interceptions, right? Keep the same energy, right? That's what Eagles fans were saying. Dak Prescott wasn't good because he threw a lot of interceptions. Jalen Hurts was a top 2 quarterback because he was all world. He had a great season. He led the Eagles to the Super Bowl, to the number 1 seed, this, that, and the third. So Jalen Hurts was better than Dak because Dak had interceptions and Jalen Hurts was throwing touchdowns, running in touchdowns. Let's look at some stats now. Last year, right? So I want you guys to answer this. Who's the better quarterback? Because last year, Dak, he had 23 passing touchdowns and 15 interceptions. And y'all called him a scrub. It's funny how life works. This year, anybody want to guess Jalen Hurts stats? This year, he threw 23 passing touchdowns just like Dak. And he had 15 interceptions just like Dak. So, Eagle fans, is Jalen Hurts a bum? Because last year, y'all said my boy was a bum because he had 15 interceptions. Jalen Hurts had the same amount of touchdowns and interceptions as Dak last year, but he had more fumbles. So technically, he had more turnovers than Dak. So, Jalen Hurts a bum? Now, I don't think Jalen Hurts is a bum, but according to other fan bases, he must be a bum since Dak was a bum last year. So, I'm interested to hear the comments out there. Comment below. Is Jalen Hurts if Dak was a bum last year, Jalen Hurts was a bum, right? Comment below your thoughts, man. I gotta hear this. But let's move on. We got bigger fish to fry. My boy Dak Prescott gave Washington the work this weekend, and he improved on his stats, right? So, in my mind, he should win MVP, right? And like I said, we got bigger fish to fry. Mr. Lamar Jackson has entered the podcast because everybody says Lamar Jackson is the MVP of the league No question. Well, when you call the MVP, it's based on stats, it's based on your team, it's based on playoff seeding, and it's based on if your quarterback was not on that squad, how would your team look? Right? So first things first. Take Lamar Jackson off the Ravens. You guys are right. The Ravens, they might be bummy. They might be under 500. But if you take Dak Prescott off the Cowboys, I'm pretty sure we'll be bummy too. I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be a playoff team, no doubt about it. Equal value to their teams, right? Let's go playoff seeding. Yes, the Ravens, they're number 1 seed, but we're the number 2 seed. I mean, yes, they get the bye, but we get home field advantage, and they got us by 1 game. Baltimore is 13-4, we're 12-5, so they got us by 1 game. Quarterbacks are equally valued to their teams. The last thing is stats, right? So let's look at stats. Games played. This is my last push for Dak Prescott. My last one, I promise you guys. Stats. Yes, Dak has played 1 more game than Lamar. Dak has 17, Lamar has 16. Yards. Total yards, Lamar Jackson has 4,499. Total yards, Dak Prescott has 4,758 yards. So that's roughly what? 259 more yards in favor of Dak. Total touchdowns. I'm not even going to do passing touchdowns because Lamar has some rushing touchdowns. So let's go total touchdowns. Dak still has 38 total touchdowns in comparison to Lamar's 29. Let's go turnovers. Dak has 11 turnovers. Lamar has 13. Let's go to completion percentage. Dak has 69.4. Lamar has 67.18. And passer rating. Dak has a 105.9 passer rating. Lamar has a 102.7 passer rating. So let's call a spade, right? Yes, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, but I say it time after time, I keep it real. Should Dak win MVP? It will be hard for him to actually win it. Lamar has been outstanding. Without Lamar, the Ravens have been scrubby. But the race, the gap between the two quarterbacks shouldn't be as wide as people may think. Dak Prescott has been balling. And as a diehard Cowboy fan, y'all can have the MVP. Just give my boy his respect. Because last year, y'all called him a bum, where you never acknowledged that his wide receiver core was the drive-thru employees at a Popeyes. He had nobody to throw to. His play calling was terrible. It was me playing Madden, hitting square axe Madden every time on 3rd and long. That's what Kellen Moore was doing to my boy Dak. And he was running 4 curls when it was 3rd and 17. Well, come on, what we going to do with that? Y'all wrote my boy off. Just give him the respect. Y'all can have the MVP. Just give him the respect, and he better be all pro. Straight like that. And I think it's time to get into playoff predictions. The seeds have been set. And day in the life of a Cowboy fan, we're going to go through each round and ultimately pick a conference championship winner, a Super Bowl matchup, and the winner. But first, I want to say this. The Dallas Cowboys have an MVP candidate at quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys have the best wide receiver in the NFL. Oh, yeah. And they have Micah Parsons on defense. So, teams have to deal with us. We don't care what they got going on. They have to deal with us. We got the weapons. We got the arsenal. And we got the bullets. Teams better be ready to come to Dallas. With that being said, let's talk about the NFL playoffs, right? So the seeding. NFC. 1 seed is San Fran. We got the 2 spot. The 3 spot is Detroit. The 4 spot, Tampa Bay. Then you got Philly. Then you got the Rams. Then you got Green Bay. Out there in the AFC, you got the Ravens. You got the Buffalo Bills. You got the Chiefs. You got the Texans, Browns, Miami, and then Pittsburgh. So, we're going to start with Dallas, obviously. We got Green Bay. Everybody's saying Green Bay is a tough matchup. I don't think so. Everybody say Dallas has a tough time with the Packers in the playoffs. I don't think so. Aaron Rodgers, for sure. Packers, not really, right? So who will win that game? Me being non-biased, we should beat the brakes off the Packers. You know what? I ain't gonna disrespect them. We should beat the brakes off the Packers, right? So everybody's saying the Packers is hot. The Packers is hot. Let's look at the opponents that the Packers have been playing and see how really strong of a team they are, right? So last game of the season, they beat the Bears. Whoop-de-doo. They beat the Vikings. Whoop-de-doo. They beat the Panthers by 3 points. They lost to the Bucks. They lost to the Giants. They beat the Chiefs. Solid win. They beat the Lions. Solid win. They beat the Chargers by 3. They lost to the Steelers. They beat the Rams. Solid win. They won 20-3. We slayed the Rams early on the season, so that's like an even draw. They lost to the Vikings early on. They lost to the Broncos by 2. They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Lions early in the season. They beat the Saints by 1. They lost to the Falcons by 1. And they beat the Bears early on in the season. So, I'll be honest with you. I'm not scared of the Packers. The record did look good until I started analyzing who they played. I'm like, oh yeah, we cool. We're cool. So, I got us beating the Packers first round. I got the LA Rams beating Detroit in the first round. And I got Tampa Bay beating San Fran, right? So that means San Fran plays LA and we play the Bucks. I got LA beating San Fran. Upset alert. I got us beating the Bucks. So in the NFC Championship, it will be us versus LA. And we gonna handle business. We one game away for the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, we handling business. So I got us coming out the NFC. AFC, in the AFC Championship, I got it. The Ravens and the Bills. And I think the Bills upset the Ravens. Yes, both Super Bowl favorites, in my opinion, are getting upsetted in the playoffs. Both the Ravens and the 49ers. So I had the Bills versus the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. And yeah, the Bills, they killed us. But guess what? It's time for revenge. And I got the Dallas Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. Quick little episode. I wanted Dak to get his respect. I want to go through the playoff predictions, and I wanted to go through our season. Comment below if you're a Cowboy fan. What's your thoughts going on in the postseason? Comment below who you think should win MVP. And comment below your favorite team and what's your prediction for them in the postseason. Day in the life of a Cowboy fan, signing out.